So consistency is everything. Okay, let's just say that the content's great, right? Like, the baseline content has to be great, and that's across every, like, medium ever. So let's say content's great, consistency is really key. So building up that kind of expectation for your audience that, okay, so for Fashion Is Your Business, it launches or releases an episode 10:30 in the morning on Tuesdays. We try our damn best never to break that. We've never actually missed a week of that show in well over 250 or so recordings. And there's a couple reasons for that. It's one is, if you miss a couple weeks, or I think it's 3 weeks, Apple automatically stops auto-downloading your file into your RSS feed into the app. So that's a huge drop-off. You have to build that back up. But I think that the biggest thing is that now that there's over 400,000 podcasts out there, and there's going to be an influx of way more than that to come. And if you miss, there's only a finite amount of time, right? So a power user of a podcast can listen to about 7, I think, hours or so, which is a lot. An average audio listener is 4 hours per week. So a power user is at 7. If you take away, if they're listening to one of them is your slot, and you take it away, or you don't provide that, then they may look to fill it with another one, and there's no saying that they're going to come back, right? So if you have someone's attention, it's so hard to grab someone's attention, and it's really powerful. So if you can, it's to hold on to it is important. So for that reason, consistency.
Yep.
I strongly feel that like, you have to respect people's ears. So, and what that means is, even though you have you could fall by the wayside with great content if the quality is subpar, and I don't mean that it has to be done in a professional recording studio. Sometimes actually that detracts from the experience. But I mean that it shouldn't be in an echo chamber, and it can't sound like you're, like my parents talking to India in 2000 or like 95, where they're screaming through like the phone. And it just, you have to be respectful of people's ears and their experience. It's really intimate to be. So if I have earplugs in my ear, and there's a spike in in one of the levels, that's jarring. Like, to a point where sometimes I've cringed. I've taken my thing out, like the earbuds out, and I'm done. Like, I'm just not going to revisit that. So I think just giving attention to quality is important. It's not an expensive hobby to pick up. It's a time-consuming one. but make sure that you're respecting that. So that's 2. 3, I think developing community around the podcast is super, super important, whether it's digital community or in person. So what we've done to the core of Mouth Media is always being community first, and what that means is we do live recording experiences for all of our shows. And then also we started a dinner series for our past guests. So last night, for instance, we had a 16-person seated dinner at a beautiful new restaurant for past guests of our real estate podcast. And that's to, again, just further encourage people to think about us, to invest in us, to help share, to help refer their friends to be on the show. It's kind of all of the above. And then we also do live recordings of all of our shows. So next week, we're hosting a live recording of the Current Innovators podcast, which will feature the VP of Design at Walmart talking about the new rollout of their new website, which is a big deal when it's on the macro scale of Walmart. And so on and so forth. We're doing them almost weekly. So I think that community is a huge part of what we do. And I think that, again, like, you could develop an audience in podcasting, and who knows if this medium is going to be where you thrive. But if the community is engaged, it doesn't matter about the numbers, because you could take them with you.
They follow you because you establish a relationship.
Exactly, and they'll support you, right? So I think that audience, there's a fine balance between audience and community, and if you could take the audience and make it into a true community, you'll be able, again, it's transferable and it's powerful. So.